Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Team, hope we're all doing well. Welcome to Friday's edition of the Line Session. Without further ado, guys, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. Looking forward to a short, sharp session here today. Been a fantastic week, been a cracking start to June, 5-0. for those trades, or all trades called live for my team, 4 of them away from the stream and 1 on stream this week, but otherwise 5 wins all taken in amongst the members, all called out in my members group. And what a start has been to the month of June. So guys, let's quickly, without further ado, big day ahead though with news, so let's have a look at that. And obviously it's a big one with NFP to come today. So gold, well, we'll see what happens in between, but it may not really get up too much. So the forecast is to be less than the previous. I've actually heard that they are predicting a lot less than even the forecast. A lot of people are starting to well, a lot of the economists are leaning towards under 100k as far as the payroll figures coming out of the US later on. So I mean, if that's to be the case, then probably not likely going to cut rates anytime. They are counting in cuts for the next few meetings, but I don't think they'll be in as big a hurry if the numbers are really bad moving forward. So maybe an end to the rate cuts soon enough for the US dollar, which could maybe see the US dollar bounce a little bit. But anyway, we can have a look at that a little bit later on moving forward. Meantime, guys, you know the drill. Smash the like button, YouTube, TikTok, smash that screen for me, and let's have a good stream, guys. And guys, any questions, any charts or anything you'd like me to look at, please feel free to pop those into the chat and I'll get to those all shortly. But without further ado, let's do what we do best, guys, and let's have a look at the charts. And starting with the gold, and what I can see on the gold is, once again, as I mentioned earlier in the week, didn't necessarily need that low week, and for the 4th week in a row, doesn't look like we're going to have the wick in the opposite direction to the way the candle closes. So in this case, no low wick. Can't see it happening. Plenty of things have happened though, and with NFP day, who knows. But anyway, based off the current weekly, what I'm likely going to be looking for are levels within the current weekly candle to see price either pull back respect for buys, or if we in fact have some sort of catalyst, perhaps sell it below those points. But off the back of the strength of the weekly, this rate, I'm definitely preferring the options to buy it. Onto the daily time frame, just consolidating here in the daily time frame. We're basically at a resistance over there to the left, around at 33.58. We keep remaining above it just now. Did close back below it though yesterday. No low wick in the current daily candle. Again, don't necessarily need it. Doesn't mean we can't pull back to create one. No, we could definitely do so, but so long as levels within the current week daily candle are met upon the pullback, met with support, then there's a good chance that we may continue bullish. Obviously, if the news about a lot could change. Otherwise though, structurally we are bullish. So let's have a look down the 4-hour time frame, and just consolidating above some previous resistance. We are range bound here on the 4-hour and in a uptrend, the way I see it as well. So once again, based off that would lean my bias towards the buys. We've got so far 3 time frames being to the upside. So off the back of that, I'm likely going to be looking for options to buy it. But what have we got here? Onto the 30, and we do have some sort of catalyst to look for sellers. We do have the structure being bearish at the minute. So off the back of that, we've got 3 time frames being to the upside, the 1 to the downside, that is 30-minute time frame. Normally off the back of that, I would consider options to sell it, but just by looking at price action below the current level, you're running into support after support after support down to the 4-hour support zone itself. So likelihood is what I'm going to be looking for are buys off the back of the strength of the weekly, in anticipation that perhaps we, this could be a level of support we could form support at, or level a little bit lower down. But again, doesn't mean I react on what I think will happen. I need to await a catalyst. So for instance here, first of all, I want to see confirmation of support forming. I want to see at this rate, we're about to close the 15, a strong bearish candle. So, and next, the optimal entry for me would be if this was in fact to happen on the following candle. If we do close back bullish engulfing above the 15-minute bearish candle just here, what that will do is close the M30 back, a relatively strong bullish candle at the support. We'll close it back kind of like a doji candle, sorry, a hammer candle. It will have a, sorry, the music's just stopped. So let me just fix that quickly. Apologies, guys. So what that will look like is a bit of a hammer candle. So we'll have a long lower wick, the closing back above that support. So back of that, I could react to that and look for an option to buy it. So at this rate, pretty much what I'm looking at, guys, I'm looking for support to form at any of these levels. We've got a level here a little bit lower down, we've got another level just a tad below that level itself. So it's just a matter of which level. I'm just marking in the current level, seeing where obviously it is the current level. I want to see how price reacts to that point, and if we do form support above it, then perhaps I may be able to look for my buy option. So it's just a matter of which level it potentially forms support at for the time being. If I was to look for further options, well, obviously above the current daily high, running into a bit of resistance there, so that may be a bit of a, yeah, that may not be valid. But I could look for the sells in line with the 30-minute structure. If we do pull back without an option to buy it, respecting that resistance, then I would consider it an option to take a sell. And aside from that, guys, what I need to see happen is if it's going to move to the downside, I prefer it to make a nice clean move. The deeper the better, then just wait for it to correct, form resistance again, and then it opens up. The area to the left, which to me is just a bit of a mess at the moment. There's no real clean area. There's no margin below any of these levels of support to the next level. I mean, perhaps we got a little bit below 33.56 here, this level, down to 33.52. So we'll keep an eye on that. But aside from that, so you know what we're going to do? We'll use this level, because below it, there potentially could be an option to sell it. But otherwise, we're just going to wait for an option for a buy if price does give me my signal to the upside. So obviously it needs to wait for support to form. So that is what I'll be looking at here today, guys, on the gold. Hopefully that made sense to you all, and did. Make sure to smash that screen, YouTube, hit that like button, and we will promptly move on to have a look at pound yen, which is not really up to anything at the minute, just consolidating. But nonetheless, we'll do the top down analysis. So off the back of the weekly candle, forming a very strong bullish candle. From memory yesterday, it was bullish across the board. So off the back of the weekly and off the bias being to the upside, I would prefer to look for options to buy it once again, unless we have some sort of catalyst on the minor time frame, which I don't think we do yet have that, but we'll have a look anyway. Onto the daily, nice strong closure. Once again, respecting support. Not that I use trend lines, but if you were to use one just here, we can see we're creating some steady higher lows, which is important to hold the trend. If you want to, obviously we are in an uptrend. The trend is to remain bullish. We want to continue to create these higher lows, and obviously the higher highs aren't as important so long as we continue to create higher lows, because eventually, so you can press and push up towards the apex, you're going to create that higher high if you are to continue bullish. So at the minute, bullish in structure, strong bullish candle on the previous candle as well. Now onto the 4-hour time frame, and what we can see is here we are still, yes, bullish. Sorry, I did say yesterday was bullish, and we still are bullish. So bullish on the 4 hour as well. Most recent support is this point here at 194.780. We're just going to mark that in. Resistance, marking the current level. Excuse me. And above it, we could have some options to buy it by the looks of things. All right, we'll go down to the 30. Yeah, perhaps just enough margin. Yeah, squeezing it. Perhaps you could squeeze out a buy above the high. All right, so we're tapping into the 4 hour resistance just now, and the 30-minute structure is also bullish. So at the back of that, today I'd be favoring the sells on GJ. On a Friday, I trend line the strength of the weekly, and again the overall bias. I'm more fixated on the bias it's in the latter half of the week on the Friday. So therefore my options would be to wait for it to pull back to 194.80, 750, form a support back above that point, and look for an option to buy it off the back of that. Perhaps as well, if we begin to break above the high, I may consider an option, but the fact of the matter is we don't have a great deal of margin. So what I might do is just mark in that resistance, knowing that it's there. So if I was to take a trade, I would know I have to get to break even as soon as it taps into that point, just in case it does reject. There's a level of data, previous data to the left, where price could potentially reject, so we need to pay attention to it. But otherwise, I will still consider buys above. Again, within the weekly, we are forming strong bullish. With the current pullback These once get met with a bit of volume and we begin to break above the high, so there could be opportunities to get involved in some continuation buys on GJ. So hopefully that made sense as well, guys. Wow, gold, I can see my MetaTrader is just taking a bit of a dump. All good. This is really good because clean move down means that if you get the right confirmation at any one of these levels, you could have an option once you get that confirmation, take a clean move back up. So all good. YouTube, g'day to you guys one and all. Let me just send my group a link. Some analysis here from Franco. GU at support. Okay, yep, so that was from yesterday that I had marked in. You could just really drag that up. Just tapped into it. Yeah, buys above that point, look pretty good. How's the weekly for me? Yep, still quite a strong bullish candle. I do like that. Just now waiting. TikTok, sort of 60 odd of you on stream, only one new follower. It's a bit disappointing. I'm assuming the rest of you already follow my channel, follow my work. So if you have not, or if you're not yet a follower, make sure to do so. Mark, morning to you, mate. Pre-line today, pre-NFP price action might be choppy. It definitely could be. Ali, thank you for sharing live. Free take a look at GJ. What's your opinion of it? So I've just done that. Jonam, should you trade? I think you mean on Binance. If you think it's a good broker, reliable broker, then why not? But I don't trade the crypto. So Leyland, g'day to you. And mate, look at this. Bought some more today. Had to before it takes off to the moon, just in case it takes off to the moon. I could not help it, had to buy just a little bit more. I usually wait for the weekend, but I thought not today. And if NFP sinks at all, fantastic, not a problem at all. But just in case it pumps it through the 37.50 38 level resistance, you're on silver. As soon as it breaks above really 37.50, then look out. And it's actually moving on its own accord at the moment to the upside, not falling gold. So that's a sign that maybe we're going into full ball metal bull market, because when silver pumps, that's when you definitely know you're in a big old full run on the metals, the precious metals. Music, sorry guys, apologies. Daniel non-farms out later will be a big mover. If it's weaker, stronger than expected, definitely will be. I won't trade it, no way. Bam Bam, how do I get into trading with you? There's links in my profile, my friend. Xauusd the one, just use the fib retracements, dude. If that's what you believe in, then by all means you do it. I use the fib, but not to determine a level to retrace to look for options to buy or sell. I use it very differently. Tom Bennett, this will break out soon. Talking about silver, I reckon it's a good chance it will. Gold, just range bound at the moment. A bit of a little pullback phase, but nothing major. Give my opinion for NFP. Don't really have much of an opinion. Not huge when it comes to fundamentals, but again, I've heard some economists are saying it'll be under 100k. So, I mean, off the back of that, I don't think I'll be likely to be as keen on cutting rates anytime soon if the numbers come out really bad. But who knows, to be honest. Anything can happen. So obviously just have to wait and see what the figures are moving forward. Designer deals at the moment I'm looking for a buy. Chris, morning to you, brother. I hope you're well. Everything gold dropped like crazy. Yeah, what's that to do with? Obviously there was high impact news yesterday. What happened to NAVs? I just want to see this because I know Tesla had a big sell-off after a big dummy spat. The partner, it's over, guys. The marriage is over between Elon and Donald Trump. Don't know if anyone heard any of the Trump interview. It's quite funny. I only heard a small portion of it where he goes on to talk about how Elon was a good guy and he spoke good things about Trump. He was in his office and he kept speaking good things about him. I love how he's so centric. It makes me laugh, his comments, to be honest. The whole thing was about him, and that's just so typical. I love it, to be honest. You either love him or hate him. If you don't like me because I actually like him, that's up to you guys, but I do like him. Not saying everything he says and does is great. Definitely moves the markets though. How are we looking at gold today, Chris? You know, call soon. Yeah, so look, we're looking for support to form in a minute. Bouncing off the current level. But I need a catalyst. So at this rate, the potential entry point will be above this 15-minute resistance. Most recent resistance form in the move on the move to the downside. So if we begin to pop above that point, we've got clean traffic to the left. That could be a good option to buy it. The collage up and down, start work at 8. Too bad, mate. If you don't get an option prior to that, you don't just take a trade because you got to go to work. It's just, you'll never make a trade if you do that. Leyland should do what the Hunt brothers done in the 70s. SR is now 92. Oh, really? They've been trolling each. Yeah, I know. Big time. He's right though, Elon, when he said he probably would have won it without him. They've already made up, have they? Oh, okay. Who knows, man? Maybe it's a bit of a big, you know what, contest with those two. Or whoever's the deeper wallet. Apparently they're having a chat later today, so 5D chess. Andrew. Just remove that level for the time being. Sorry, mate, how are you?
You do wonder how much. You do wonder how much of it just kind of almost planned, or.
Yeah, it seems it, doesn't it? It seems it. Maybe they had some sort of agreement so Elon could buy back shares cheaper or something. Buy back his own Tesla shares. Who knows?
That would be amazing if it came out that was true.
It would not surprise though, would it? What happens to Tesla? I heard it took a big nosedive.
It went down 15%.
Wow. Yeah, maybe Elon on the odds that Trump said, hey, hang on a sec, stock's a little bit overinflated, let's do something about this. Would you put it past them? Democrats now want Epstein files released. Yeah, I heard about that too. Oh, that event. I still haven't looked it up. I've got written here, Carrington event.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, I just thought I like that kind of thing. It sounded interesting. It suddenly popped into my head. I wanted to look it up.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look it up. I just haven't forgotten. I haven't really had the time.
Thanks.
Freddie, where do you find news? I think you mean Forex Factory or Financial Juice. Financial Juice are a little bit quicker, sort of breaking news. It's a little harder to follow, I feel. Forex Factory is the one that most traders follow. I don't know what a lot of the bots that run off. Ranger, good morning. Big fan of Donald. He's crazy. Yeah. So am I, to be honest. Gold Trail Hunt Brothers Silver Squeeze was a failure, not like most squeezes are. Yeah, they had Silver Squeeze Day last month or something, but nothing happened. Or they were trying to create another Silver Squeeze event. You didn't let me join. Let you join what? Just Serene's boyfriend. Hello, just Serene's boyfriend. Supply and demand. Chart candlesticks patterns as well, and that's it. I'm new here. Don't know your strategy. No, it's not just that, mate. It's not just that. There's a lot more to it, and you just gotta watch. You just gotta watch. There's a lot more to it. It's pure price action. I have a preferred bias, but I am open to trading against it if I have the right confirmation and if it's at the right levels. But I await price action catalyst, and it doesn't matter if it's at supply, demand, support, resistance. I have entries for above or below, or within it, within the range itself, within the below the high of the resistance, below the low, below the above, sorry, the support. There's many different ways I can go about it. Mufasa, no. This week I've had 5 trades. All of them were away from the stream, but every single trade was called in the members group. Yesterday I won a call with the members. We took a gold buy for a very, very, very quick win. Again, nice and easy one on that. So 4 of the trades, 4 of the 5 and 0 for the week, 4 of the 5 were on calls, or were with the members, called out in the members group. Every single one has been called out in the members group. Oh, whoops, what did I do there? Whoop, hope I didn't do anything. Trade ideas section. This is called yesterday. The actual entry point, everything. Alright. Alright, so just over a minute remaining on the M15. We don't yet have a confirmation to buy it, because the 30 is still not confirmed support. So this rate was still a little bit away from an entry, but we shall soon see. Got London Open upon us in 1 minute. GJ is nothing at all in the minute. GJ is just consolidating. Real life observer. Me too is in Trump. Yep. Uma taking the market so their rich friends can buy. Yeah, that's would not surprise me. I was high on your chart. You got buy above. So do you wait for next counter clear line? If you're referring to gold here, yeah, the preference would be to wait for it to close above that point and then wait for the new counter to retest it and then look for an option to buy it as it begins to pull away.
Where does sales become valid on GJ, do you think?
To be honest, the way I go about it, it's probably not going to be valid at all today, because I really need to wait for a 30 to close our flip bearish, which is until below this point, 194.05. But otherwise, I mean, if you're happy to take a counter trade and against the formation of the weekly candle, you'd be looking at below 195 flat psychological round number. That's where I reckon we'd have some options. So what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, I've got that level marked in, but it's, yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't
yeah, it's
make you want to take something, does it?
It's been,
especially slightly messy to the left as well.
yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I'd rather just let it pop down and see if it forms support. So it's obviously session open, guys. So what we could potentially look for now is if this 15 closed bearish followed by a bullish engulfing M15, you've still got the margin. There could be some buys a little bit lower down here on the next M30 candle. So 30 minutes away minimum. We don't have any option to take a trade at the minute. Gift direction of NFP, bro, no idea. Shouldn't trade the news. You're better off just going to the casino. If you're going to if you're too tempted to trade and you have to trade it, make sure you do it on a side account or open up just another account on your broker through your profile. Chuck whatever you're willing to lose in it, because that's likely what's going to happen. Never trade it on your live account or prop firm account or anything like that. They probably won't let you either way.
I always do on a demo account.
Just for shits and giggles.
About 15 minutes before, yeah.
Yeah.
Take a 50 lot on gold.
And just say.
Just watch the numbers.
Yeah. For that day where you just don't give a shit and you got that much cash that you can actually afford to do it, not worry.
Yeah.
It will come. Yeah, unfortunately I don't own my own brokerage, so I can't, if I take a loss, make it disappear. So yeah, so I definitely won't be trading, even though someone definitely will be. Some of you might know who I'm talking about. Just Marine's boyfriend, so waiting for exhaust points basically, and then you jump in. No, it's just not just about reversals, it's continuation trades, everything. There's a lot more to it, mate. You're just gonna have to wait and watch and see. Your favorite, should I buy or sell? You need to have your own plan. At the moment, there's nothing for me. Gold trade, gold market will not give you a trade while you are online. Probably not, to be honest. It's going to be touch and go. If I'm to get an option, I need, at least have to wait 30 minutes. And I can't be on all that long, to be honest, today. Gotta wrap it up for you, but at least 10 minutes to the hour. Yeah, to the top of the hour.
Hey, good morning, Justin.
Good morning, mate. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
All good, mate. All good.
Yesterday I was a little bit late. Why and why?
Oh, NY, yeah, man, you missed the fun.
Yeah, I was with my mother.
All good, mate. Hope all as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So, and yeah, this morning, I don't know, GU, I was looking for a buy in this area right now, but it's breaking support.
Yep.
Maybe waiting for, yeah, maybe to get in cells. You know.
Yeah, I've got that same level mark, Frank.
Yeah.
Just below where it is now.
Yeah, at least you got the 30-minute structure on your side on GU as well. Yep, I see it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's difficult. Yeah, I see the area which we are right now. We can take sells and we can take buys at the end.
Yeah, if it does flip.
As you marked also, yeah.
Yep.
I prefer the sales personally, just because only given the daily has broken the low and the strength.
Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, high, low, low, and that left a long upper wick. Potential sign of rejection. You do have margin as well on the daily. Not a great a deal, but still 20 pips. He'll, as long as it doesn't melt in the next, 24 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I'm also preferring sells, James. So I'm feeling more better to be on this side, because on the daily we are rejecting at the end the resistance, and I don't know if we are switching then on the weekly also bearish then. Let's take a little bit more time.
Nah, weekly still got a way to go.
Yeah,
It's likely not going to flip bearish.
According to the daily, I'm also looking for sales.
Nice one, guys. I'm just contemplating some options to maybe sell gold as well. Get bearish engulfing.
Is the margin there? Because
not a great deal.
Below, because if you are closing at the end, sorry.
Yeah, you may not have the margin. That's why I put it there. But I did say it's likely not going to be valid, because if it does close below, it's probably going to close a little bit too far below, and therefore not leaving you enough margin to bother. But we'll see. Edit ICU. How do I join? Link is in my profile, my friend. Ready? What time? Timeline? Time frame 15. DJ Uni K. This is gold, spot gold. London session probably be sideways. Gold trader could be sideways. Yeah, it would not surprise me. Just Marine's boyfriend. London always is. I prefer. Asian session is great, but I just got things to do, or usually during the day, or I prefer to be out and doing other things, to be honest, than sat here on the charts. But yeah, I do think Asian session's great for gold. Today it made some nice moves. User, what's TP on gold? There is no entry to be a TP at the minute. Mufasa, XAU USD, is it a buy on gold? Well, if you've got XAU USD in your profile name, mate, you probably should know if it's a buy or sell. For me, it's nothing in a minute. VNR, Heaven. Gold trader market was busy yesterday. I did 23 trades. Wow. 20 and 3. All right. 23 trades, mate. Wow. BJIKNM, buy or sell, nothing in a minute. The Serene's boyfriend, if your strategy allows. My strategy, again, there's so many ways I can go about it. I know exactly what type of catalyst I'm to look for at each level, and depending on how price action is forming as well. At the minute, I don't have anything. Sonic, check out YM. I have no idea what YM is. Buy or sell, again, nothing in a minute. Just Serene's boyfriend, of course, bro. A plus A, B plus C setups, etc. Just trying to simplify things for new people. Your teaching may not be the best thing to simplify. I think the way I teach, I make it a lot more simpler than what other mentors and coaches would teach. You just have to watch, mate. I can't just tell you the whole story about everything the way I trade. You just simply need to watch how I go about things. I have some very strict rules that I follow. I've had enormous success in helping and teaching, coaching, mentoring traders just by being who I am, trading the way I do, having my simple rules to follow. And you know, in time they get to also benefit from that, because they realize, you know, and the more you practice it, the more you're going to understand it, the more you're going to respect it, the more discipline and patience you will grow with your training as well. And you know, the more probability you'll be training alongside, and that point, you know, more probable as far as your win rate and that type of thing. You feel a lot more confident about your trading. I teach my guys we don't always need to be involved in a trade. We jump in when it's the right time. And I mean, all this week, every single trade I've got in, it's literally popped straight up into TP1. I've not been in any trade that's lasted longer than like a minute or two, I don't think, all week. Get in with momentum at the right time in anticipation of very little drawdown. Just by following some simple rules, that's what I do. So right now, I want the confirmation of the M30. There would be a slightly riskier entry off the back of the 15 if this closes weak bearish, and this is where I could potentially use the fib to determine the strength of the current candle. And if it was to close above the 0.382, and we're seeing we are respecting this support, as I mentioned, we could have marked in, well, I had that level marked in previously, but I adjusted it as this candle began to push a little bit lower down. Now, if it closed above the 0.382, that would suggest we're a few things here. To me, it would suggest it's a weak pause just above the previous support. It also suggests we've tapped back into it, leaving long wick, so we likely have grabbed liquidity from the downside. And off the back of that, we actually do create a minor resistance at the support. So that would also suggest to me that if we were to continue bearish and respect it, there is not much need for it to pop above that point there. And if it did so, what we can see is we've got a clean candle to the left-hand side of that, this candle here. And I feel it'd be a high probability price will come back up towards this 33.65 sort of region. So there's something you could look to maybe take. If it closes bullish like so, then it's just not my signal. Plain and simple. Doesn't mean it can't make the move, but it's not my signal within price action. So I have to have the discipline to sit that out. Never get FOMO. Only when it comes to buying silver, physical silver. That's the only time I get FOMO. But I'm a stacker, that's why. I just keep buying pretty much every single, a few times a week, basically, is when I buy.
Just a quick question on GU.
Yep.
If it were, I know it's far away from doing so, if it was to close below that level,
Yep.
because it's come from further away, the whole move on the 30-minute, would you want to see a close below and then a 15-minute bullish candle?
No, I wouldn't be concerned because you still had, you've triggered in some buys. It's not like it's come from the Asian session highs or whatever without triggering buys. It also triggered in buys at the support itself. So if price was to wipe those buys out and start to close below it, then yeah, by all means, I would.
You get to tap back in, that's fine.
Yeah, preference to tap back in for sure.
Yeah.
But I would definitely
be
keen on.
I took that trade on GJ at the beginning of the week, and it was went to PP, but
yeah,
I was sat in 7 or 8 pips drawdown just
okay.
Just wait for that tap back in.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, there are times when we could probably go without that tap in, but that's when you have one of these gladiator candles, or when you have a candle that just has a lot of volume behind it. That would suggest the momentum's there. Buyers are present if it's the upside, or sells are present if it's, you know, looking for a sell. All right, so I don't have a catalyst at the minute. 15 close week bullish. I feel it's a high probability if it broke this candle's high that it would head up to 33.65, but it's not a signal of mine, so I can't trade that. It's not my trade. Very strict, because the reason why, even though I think there's a high probability of it coming up, all I can do is react to my signals. And if I was to trade on what I think would happen and I got wrecked, I would be very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed in myself. Because at that point, that means I'm trading based on emotions, not reacting to my signals. Yeah, fair enough. That's the way to do it. You break the rules and you more you lose. Yeah, exactly. Chopskeek, do you have Discord? How can we learn from you? I do. It's all the links to everything are in on my profile, mate. I'll trade today. I feel nothing. The wide range is 30 to 80. Today's probably a day we'll not get involved. It's fair enough. NFP day. It's gonna be a difficult day to get involved in the markets. Just so his boyfriend, completely understand, not trying to get on your nerves. No, it's all good. All your relevant questions. Pop straight up, because your patience, and props to you, man. Patience is really the key. It is when it comes to trading. Never deviate from the rules. I mean, the 1 or 2 times I've done it, it's usually the time to get wrecked. Lost 3 trades last month. Didn't take a great deal. I think it was like 14 or 15 wins. Something like that. And the 3 losses, I broke the rules on each one of them. Trying to act on more on intuition. And that just goes to show, you know, we're human. Sometimes if you're having a good week or a good month or a good day, you feel like maybe I'll act on my intuition a little bit. I'm willing to take a bit of a risk. But if, you know, if I hadn't done it, it would have been a perfect month, probably. No, personal money. Personal capital. Narendra, BTC. Bit of a pullback on Bitcoin, but it looks like it's bouncing. Weekly strong bearish. Obviously, there's a few more days to go though for that to close. Lower high, lower low. Back of that, the counter probability is being to the downside. We're looking to see what levels we could potentially pull back to form resistance and continue down. Daily. So close strong, bearish, and right at the lows of the support. So we begin to break the low of the previous daily candles low. There is a really good chance we're heading down further, potentially towards that 94k, 93 sort of k region. Structurally, I think it's flipped too, has it? Yeah, you could argue it's flipped bearish, the structure on the daily. The 4 hours also bearish. Is back above some support though. All right, so I feel this is definitely going to be a key level. Price was to pull back towards this 105 flat. It's a psychological round number. I think that's going to tell the big story. If price does reject, then I reckon it's a good chance at later moving forward into the rest of the week that we could end up back towards the current weekly candles low. That's just off the back of the foyer. Mark. We'll just use actually the current price action. Below it's quite clean. So 30 is bearish. So at this stage, I would definitely favor the sells. And we're at a level where it could potentially reject minor time frame level. So I'd be looking for some price action catalyst from the current area from around that 103 to 50 towards 103.50 for options to sell it from the current level. Now we're similar to GJ yesterday, where it just popped straight up from like a 4-hour support and did not create any structure whatsoever. I would avoid the buys until you have some structure formed. So if it does, for instance, tap in, or preferably, sorry, close above, then maybe pull back to create the higher low, form support. That's when I would start to consider the buy options. But otherwise, I'd just be waiting for a nice strong catalyst to the downside. You could look for a single counter catalyst if it's a very strong bearish engulfing candle. Otherwise, your next point of entry is likely below 102.70. It's the most recent support. Below the current level of resistance, if price was to reject the current level and begin to pop below 102.700, I feel there's a good chance at that point that we're coming back down towards, once again, current daily / previous or current weekly low at that point as well. All right, so if this closes bearish, then it may just be another 15 minutes. We get a strong bullish closure on the following candle, and as long as we have the margin, would be options to buy. I still don't have a callus. If this keeps closing weak bullish, got a 30-minute liquidity candle, but I just don't have anything at all in between it, and I'm likely not gonna have the margin as well, but we'll see. Still got just under 9 minutes remaining in the current candle either way. Oops. Kaz, why buy? Not a break. Who said buying anything? Not any trades at the moment. Narinja, well done. You made a good win yesterday. Riley, what's the best CFDs to trade in right now? Trading 212. I don't use trading 212. Where are you gonna buy? Nice one. Just Serene's boyfriend. How often we go live? Monday to Friday, mate. So every market day. Has the gold gone retest the break and go down? Potentially. I'm not in nothing yet, so, and I'm not in a hurry. I've had a good week, 5 wins, no losses for the week. Great start to the month, so there's no need to force anything. Barber emo, what's that? No, this is gold, not EU. EU, that's a chart from probably yesterday or a couple of days back. EU's at strong support here on the minor time frame, not necessarily the higher time frame. Yeah, EU looks like shit. It looks horrible. GU looks a lot better, but to me it's not quite ready for an entry. Oh man, silver's so trying. I think year to date, I think now we may have gone ahead of gold in regards to percentage gain from silver. Let's go to the weekly. Alright, so we're looking from pretty much those lows. 25.56% gain so far. Let's have a look at gold. So gold starts around there. Actually, no, gold outperformed just 33%, but silver looks like it's about to take over. Haven't bought any for a week, Leyland. You must be hanging, mate. I wish I lived 5 minutes away from the coin shop. Can't stand it. I gotta go. I mean, not that I'm far away, but it's just a pain in the ass to get parking. I want to catch a train. Buy precious metals. Gold trader silver will probably get beaten down by the end of the day. It's very manipulated. I know it's a very manipulated market. The banks want it cheap. So they're heavily naked short. And some of those big banks will go under eventually because they're so short. It's unbelievable. And there's nothing to back it up because they don't have physical silver to actually, if any, you know, country or whatever company, whatever it is, requests physical delivery of physical silver. And banks are so over leveraged short on it, they're going to get absolutely wrecked, completely wrecked. It's happened before. I think it was JP Morgan or someone, one of their some high-ranked official at JP Morgan, I think, got sent to jail the back of trying to suppress the price of silver. Leyland, yep. Yeah, it did happen, didn't it? Something like that. I'm pretty sure it's JP Morgan. But yet they still continue to do it. There's a lot more to that, mate. There's a lot more to that. I think a lot of it's got to do with things like war and that as well. Because there is a lot of silver that goes into military, making bombs and equipment and things like that. They got fined. Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone went to jail though. Cruise missiles, yep. Tomahawks and that as well. Just from his boyfriend? No, I don't trade the Aussie. Yeah, it's going to 34 again. I believe at some point it will. But off the back of that, it just doesn't mean I'm buying it. Again, as a trader, I need to wait for the right cue to get involved in a trade. Tuck, yeah, this is gold, so nothing at the minute. Starting to form a little bit of structure at the support though, so that's all right. 15's closing relatively strong bearish, so now for me to perhaps get involved in a trade, I would need to wait for the next M15 to close right up against the high, if not above it. Still though, leaving us enough margin to buy it, which it likely won't. Jeff Ben, TRX. That's Tron, isn't it? Crypto. No idea about it. I don't trade in crypto. David, thoughts on FP? Don't really have any thoughts. I won't be trading it. Heard that apparently could be a lot worse than what the forecast suggests. So I've heard a lot say it'll come out as under 100. But who knows?
Long gold, then.
What's that? Long gold? Yep, that's it.
Gold, then.
Buy gold. Watch it dump 15 minutes before. Pick up liquidity and then pump up to 3,400. Imagine if it actually happens.
Now, so that you don't get stuck with the big spread.
Yeah, that's it. Buy now so you don't get stuck in a massive spread. But then the spread winds like 15 pips and then the spread takes you out and it pumps. All sorts of funny shit happens during the news. Not say I'm joking, by the way, guys. Don't do it. David, NFP will see direction for next week. Well, could well do so. Oh man. Expecting a bit much of this guy. Yeah, this is gold. Use other Rayo. Just waiting for this count's closing bearish, so now waiting to see if the next count closes bullish engulfing. We're still yet to have a 30-minute close bullish as well, but that is a slightly better indication that we could potentially reverse. Left a long wick down into the support, so I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. It's a matter of which level we respect in order to look for the buys from, but we don't yet have that confirmation in M30. But what we do have is resistance forming just above the support, so if this candle wiped out that resistance and closed above it, it could be potential options. The only issue is, will we have enough margin up to the next level? Probably a good chance we won't, but we still will consider it. Barman, yep. Thank you, Buddy As. So I dropped a little bit from its highs. There's obviously been a big strong uptrend. Back of, I think, the spat between Trump and Elon, or the pretend spat. Still forming quite a strong bullish candle on the weekly, daily, strong rejection. Not much of a lower wick, current daily, lower high, lower low. Let's mark in the current day's low. Let's see what's below it. Let's mark in the current day's high, see what's above it. Structurally, we know it is definitely bullish. The 4 hour is, I would still call it bearish. I'd be marking that resistance, marking this level of support. So we're closer to the resistance, but we're kind of in the middle of the 4 hour range at the minute. Then again, you could really just adjust that down. Therefore, yeah, you are the top third of the range. 30 minute looks a lot cleaner though. So the back of that, you could probably still get options to buy it. 30 minute is bearish in structure though. I wouldn't be trading this time of day, to be honest. But if you got a nice strong bullish engulfing candle, I think the buys would be a pretty good option above 21,644. Otherwise, seeing the M30s bearish in structure, I'd just be looking for levels of support. We have formed support at this point here. So if we were to begin a pop below 21,596 roughly, could be options to sell it off the back of that. Serene's boyfriend, do you pre-trade analysis before live streams? No, generally not. Certain days I do, and I'll send it into the members group, not on a Friday. I do pre-session NY analysis every day except for Friday. That goes into my members group for call. That's a recorded, update on the markets, and then I also Monday jump on for an education session for the team, with the team. Tuesday and Wednesday are live NY calls, start about now before the open, and then Thursday is a live market update for pre-NY, and yesterday we managed to find a nice trade on that as well. And Friday I usually hang on after the stream for an accountability session, so we have just a general checkup, see how everyone's going throughout the week. Any questions? We follow the rules. How was our week? Do we give into FOMO and all that stuff? It's a good time for people to hold their hand up and say they're going to do this better next week moving forward, or you know, whatnot. But unfortunately I won't have time for that today. That could be a next potential entry point here on gold. Link W bio. Like, what do you think? All reaching 33.45 soon. Has to get through all this support. There's a lot of support here. So it could bounce off any one of these levels. Again, the weekly is forming still a very strong bullish candle. So off the back of that, I'm still favoring the buys. But doesn't mean it can't do it. Don't have a crystal ball to be able to tell you. You know, wish I had. BLS Adam, what is the best entry? At the moment, there isn't anything. Gold trade still kicking off between Trump and Musk. Me, myself, and I-89 buy or sell, bro. Nothing in a minute. What do you think? Is NFP a buy or sell? Gold. Well, the numbers come out as predicted. Who knows? I mean, probably be a bit of strength to gold, but I wouldn't be trading it. It's not worth it. If you have respect for your account and you want to treat trading seriously, don't trade the news. If you want to treat it more as a bit of fun, for a bit of a gamble, and which is alright, some people prefer that, and up to you. I understand, it's a different story. But for me, it's a job. So I need to do my job properly. And trading the news is definitely not in my job description. And like I said, I don't own a broker to be able to make that loss, if it is a loss, disappear. So no way would I trade the news on a live account. Not anyway, not my main live account. Like I mentioned before, if you felt an urge to gamble, either do it on a demo account or chuck 50 or 100 bucks or whatever you're willing to lose in a side account and roll the dice. That's a different story, but just bear in mind there's a good chance you could lose the whole thing. It may not, the spread could even take you out of the trade before it actually moves, even if it goes in your direction. Stu DMB, g'day to you. BLS Adam, best entry around 3357.5. 56.5. Possibly, I don't know, there's no confirmation. I'm looking at it, but I'm not in anything, not trading at the minute. There's nothing to trade. Gold trade best position today and appears being square. Yep. Agreed. Tommy, good morning to you, mate. Or good afternoon to you. GGPM, g'day, mate. Hope you're well. No, it's been nothing. GJ's closed below that support, but I'm focused on the buys for GJ today. I think it's pretty true, Leyland. You might know JP Morgan own a massive stake in a company that produces all the military equipment for the US, and that is also why they're so heavily short, trying so hard to suppress silver. That's something I did hear, but eventually it's just going to break. There's only so long they can keep it down for. And the Chinese are lapping it up there, buying it. They're going all around the world and buying silver, apparently, as well. And paying premiums, they don't care. They're just buying as much as they can. Get the knock on the door one day from some Chinese official.
In all of those sub-Saharan African countries, it's insane how many people, all of the roadworks and all of the kind of public work that goes on in those countries is done by the Chinese.
Yeah.
Because they just go in,
they're smart,
take the land, and they say, in return, we'll do the work for you.
Yep.
And they own all the
and we own it,
ground under which is all the precious metal.
And when they can't pay it back, who owns it? They're very smart. I actually think they're very, very switched on. They own a lot of Australia too. Asia, we sticking with gold. Not in anything to be sinking or to be pumping. Sellers, are you ready? Chinese are buying world resources, everything. Yeah, they're not stupid, are they? Okay, what's the analysis with gold? Potential buys on a closure above 33.6250 at the minute. as long as there is the margin, and take it back up, but it doesn't look likely. Just adjust that zone now as well. Been quite friendly to me this week, GJ. Not traded it for quite some time, but taking 2 trades on it this week, and one of them was a cracking quick trade. It was gold-esque. Almost thought for a second, was I on the right chart? Because it literally did what gold would do. Popped up like 20 pips in a blink of an eye.
Buy.
That was that buy, yeah. Above the high a few days back.
Yeah. Tuesday, I think it was.
Yeah. Stuff, what is this chart? This is gold. GU up to? Still respecting support at the minute. GU's looking good because you got a pretty good point of entry here. 135.523. Minor resistance formed at the support. So really it's just a matter of waiting for a closure above that point. Preference would be a 30. But so long as, I would say, so long as you have the 30-minute closing back bullish now, and perhaps if the next 15 closes above that level, then it could be options to buy GU.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier on James, I would also prefer some sells.
Yep.
But indeed, this is H4 support which we are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a level from yesterday, so I haven't changed it. But yeah, you are correct. It is a while.
So, it's very strong at the end. So yeah, there is potential for also a buy. Yeah.
Yep, agreed. Danny, this is Gold. Kiki, are you 15 minutes, 1 hour? Are you 15 minute time frame? 15:30, yeah. Don't look at the hourly much, but there's nothing wrong with looking at the hourly. Less noise on the hourly. Would you recommend buy or sell right now? Nothing right now. I wouldn't recommend anything. Just Serene, you mentioned that you live stream weekdays. How many hours per day and for how long for? For live stream, it's depending. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, pretty much over anywhere between 2 and 2.5 hours. Tuesday, a couple hours, and Friday, usually about an hour and a half or so. Andrew, yeah, that's exactly right. Asking what do we do? Well, it's up. Flip a coin. For me, that's what it could do at the minute. It's not yet ready for a buy or a sell. Kiki, all good, no problem. Apple user, what time do your live start, please? Friday starts a bit later, about 30 minutes prior to London Open. But for the most part, start depending where you're from. So Australian Eastern Standard Time about 3:50 PM. UK time 6:50 AM. Danny, what time frame? This is the 15. What strategy are you using? It's analyze, confirm trade. Pure price action. No fair value gaps, no SMC, nothing like that. Alright, so the next potential option, but unfortunately I can't be on stream for it. I've got to jump on a meeting very shortly. Would be if it closes below, but again, it's the same deal as this level to the upside. You're likely not going to margin because there's still 13 bit minutes left for this candle to print. So in the meantime, it could make the move, it could tap into the target, but if it doesn't, and let's just say it closes around this level here, and all you're waiting for is the new candle to create the upper wick, begin to pull away from the zone, break below the catalyst candle's low, and you may still have enough margin to take yourself back down to 33.53, that sort of region. 30-minute will be closing below the support, but once again, the likelihood of that happening is of low probability, because if it does begin to pop below, close below, there's a good chance it would have pushed a little bit too far towards the support, so no margin to take a trade if that is to be the case. Yeah, so that's what I see on gold. GJ, not looking too bad, making a bit of a move down, so cleaner the better, because I'd be more keen on buying it today. I'm back at the stream for the weekly and the bias is bullish across the board, so I'd just be waiting to see how price reacts towards that. Well, I preference the pullback to the 4-hour zone, or at least 194.80, this support here, and see how price reacts to it for options to buy it. And that's pretty much how I would play GJ. But once again, bear in mind guys, big day of news, NFP, so be very careful. It's going to make spreads widen on pretty much every pair, especially the majors and gold. So be very wary of that. Astro, no, I've not been with that group for what, about 18 months now. Danny, I would, but I'm about to get going because I need to hop off quick smart. RSI is good too. Yeah, it's okay. I just don't use indicators. Astro, did something happen? No, I just went to do my own thing. So gold breaking now, but it's pushing a bit too far. Danny, all good. So guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. But anyway, I will be back Monday. I'll be back from the normal time on Monday. It's a public holiday here apparently in Melbourne, but I'll be on nonetheless. Unless it's a public holiday in the UK, but I don't think it is it? Sunday? No.
Germany is a holiday.
Oh, it is in Germany? Oh, okay. I'll be on because the UK it's not, so, and US, so I'll be on. All right, team. Well, appreciate the support throughout. Been a great week. 5-0. Hope you've all had a good week as well. Do take care. Do trade safe. King's birthday. Is that what it is? All right.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice weekend, Justin.
You too, guys. I'll be in the chat. Yeah, thank you for the support, guys. I'll be in the chat a little bit later on. So let us know how you go, guys. Yeah, otherwise, guys, take care. Have a good one. Thank you once again, one and all. I'll catch you guys all on Monday. Cheers, team. Bye, guys.
Cheers, Justin.
See you guys.